Exercise 9J is about measures of spread. That's a measure that tells us how spread out the data is. So two measures of spread we're going to learn are the range and the interquartile range. So the range is just the highest score, the maximum, minus the lowest score, the minimum. We have quartiles. So we know that the median divides data in half. Quartiles divide data into quarters. So the median is actually a quartile as well. So the lower quartile we call Q1, the median is Q2, the upper quartile is Q3, and they divide the data into 4 groups. So you've got a group of data and then the lower quartile, another group, then the median, another group, then the upper quartile, and then a final group. So the lower quartile is the middle of the scores below the median, and the upper quartile is the middle of the scores above the median. The interquartile range, or IQR, is the upper quartile minus the lower quartile. So basically that looks at, it's ignoring the top quarter and ignoring the bottom quarter. It just looks at the range of the middle 50% of the data, middle 50%. We've lost 25% out the top, 25% out the bottom. We're left with a middle 50%. So here are a couple of examples. Now I've given this data to you in order in both sets, so you do not have to order them. If you were given them out of order, you would need to do so. Now the trick here is to start from the middle and work your way out. You're much less likely to make mistakes that way. So Q2, our median, is the middle number. Now I have 8 numbers here, so let's divide them into 2 groups. So our median is halfway between 6 and 6, which is just 6. The average of 6 and 6 is 6. The lower quartile is the middle of these 4 numbers. So halfway between 3 and 5, which is 4. Q1 equals 4. The upper quartile is the middle of these 4 numbers. So halfway between 7 and 8, which is 7.5. The minimum is 3. The maximum is 9. So our range is the maximum minus the minimum, 9 minus 3, which equals 6. So there's a count of 6 between the bottom and the top. The interquartile range are these two subtracted. So it's our Q3 minus our Q1, our upper quartile minus our lower quartile. So 7.5 minus 4, which gives us 3.5. Okay, let's look at our second data set. Now one thing you might notice here is we've got an outlier. We've got this number that's significantly different from the others. I am going to leave that in for these calculations, but in real life, we would potentially take that number out. So let's see how many scores we've got. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 scores. We need to split that into 2 groups. Because it's an odd number, there'll be a leftover one in the middle. So 10 splits into 2 groups of 5 with a leftover in the middle. So 5 there, then the 6th number leaves 5 on top. So the 6th number is the median. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There it is there. 5 below it, 5 above it. Q2 is 25. Then the lower quartile is the middle of everything below this number. So don't include that number, just the middle of these. And that's the 19. 2 numbers, 19, 2 numbers. Same thing up here. Because it went 2, 1, 2, it'll go 2, 1, 2 up here as well. So that's our upper quartile. So Q1 was 19, Q3 was 29. Our minimum is 18 and our maximum is 78. So the range of the data is our 78 minus our 18, which is 60. Okay, and our interquartile range is our 29 minus our 19. Those are nice easy subtraction numbers, so that is 10. There's quite a large spread compared to the interquartile range, and that's because of that outlier.